Okay, I think we got it. Why can't I get back to it? Oh, this is driving me crazy.
Okay, now we get you back. We see you now.
The content of this meeting is being sent to a third party. Am I supposed to say, okay? Who's the third party?
Yes, it's because it's live streamed on YouTube.
Okay. Are we ready? I don't know.
We are at long last.
Okay. So again, before I start the meeting, did anybody want to volunteer to take notes?
I'll take the notes.
Thank you, Joel. All right, so I'm going to call the meeting to order, and you got the names for the Zoom because I can't see who's on, and you can't either, really. It's Bruce Webster.
Yeah, Bruce, Joel, Mike, Mark, and Jean, and you.
Okay. Okay, so let's update the agenda. I did want to just touch on, and I talked to Noah about it, about the Airbnbs. And I know we talked about it way back in May, and I don't think we really moved very much forward on it. But there has been articles in the paper from Rutland and South Burlington. They're saying there's like 17 towns that are looking into Airbnbs, and that we should, try to get some kind of ordinance if we're doing the bylaws. Start slowly. They're just doing little things like registration, so the fire department can know how many people are there, how many are in town. Nobody's saying that we don't want them to make money. We just saying that if it's short term, that the fire department is one that should know, who's got that.
Yeah, because there's rules and regulations to Airbnbs that if you're renting out your house, it has to have hardwired smoke detectors. It can't be regular. So that's where the fire department would come in to oversee that they're in compliance.
Right.
And so
and
I
then
think
there's right. And they're supposed to register too. Like you could charge a fee, so that we know where everyone is. So I just wanted to say that, I know we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but it's something that I would like to come back to. And I think we should make some decisions on that. Yep. And, start working on that next meeting. For sure.
Yeah, the next meeting too, for our booklet that we're getting ready there. I looked into, and I had conversations with the problem of these solar companies coming in and putting in these solar farms, and that I know they go under the certificate of public good, which I don't have a problem with, but we as a town should oversee what's going on for permitting, because they have to comply with our zoning ordinances. And if they don't have a permit, who's going to make sure that the zoning ordinance is being followed?
They do not have to comply. They do not have to comply with their zoning ordinances.
No, that's not what I was told. It's up to the towns. I was told by Act 250, I called and looked into the certificate of public good, which mentions that the municipalities can have their own rules and regulations. And one of those is permitting. And I looked into it with Joel.
Are you talking about the Airbnbs?
No.
Solar.
Solar farms.
Well, how did we get to solar farms? We were still on Airbnb.
I thought you were all done.
Well, I didn't say, was there any other discussion, just to somebody say something? So you're on public comment then?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I thought this was on the agenda, Mark.
Huh?
This is on the agenda.
It is. It's number 5, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know. I haven't seen it. Okay. I'm not getting anything from Noah anymore.
Well, you're getting it, but you can't download it.
I can't download it. I don't know what the heck's going on, but
Your phone.
no, it's not. It's not the phone, because I'm not just. I got the thing, but can't download the thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on.
You can't go under the town government and go under the agendas for planning board. I don't know if Noah
Well, I think
prints
he
it right
was-
away.
I think he was just.
I got Mike, I got yours that you sent me.
Yep.
I got all that. It's every time I get something from nowhere, it's not working.
Must have been flagged as spam.
Account.
But anyways, I just wanted to talk about that tonight, about the permitting, so that, and that way there, also, these, I know you've got a deal with the one there on Creamery Road where they're paying the town $5,000 for giving you electricity here. But we have another one here in town, and we don't see any paperwork and for the town itself to know when decommissioning does come about because they've gone bankrupt or something's gone wrong, we should have, with the permitting process, we would have the information. We would
No, we
know.
wouldn't.
What do you mean you wouldn't?
I think
We wouldn't get-
they have to have that anyways.
No,
That's all Public Utilities
sees it.
Commission. That is not the town.
no, but don't you think that we should have the information as to?
We have no right to request it even. We have no law that says.
Well,
we
that's not what, that's
request
not,
that.
that's not right, Mike. Show me where it says that, because I went through the whole process of the paperwork that needs to be filled out for these big solar farms. And it
But
keeps
that
saying.
paperwork is not the town's. That is
Let
not
me
the town's
finish,
paperwork.
Mike. You're interrupting. It says on that paperwork that the municipalities have rights to certain things that if they request. One of it, you can have permitting. Some towns require permitting from these companies.
So Mark,
It's a business. If it's a business, we have a right to tax it.
okay,
I'm just telling you, because the tax for the state right now for these solar farms is $4 per kilowatt. So if you have a megawatt, that's $4,000 in taxes that we could get from these solar farms for these 1 and 2 megawatt stations that they're putting in. That is a business that does not come under tax exemption. Residential is not taxed, but
whoever
just to
said
let
it
you know,
wasn't taxed.
huh?
Whoever said it wasn't taxed.
Well, the listeners haven't gone over there. They don't know nothing about it.
They're in the process of.
I
Right
asked
now.
Teresa, and the listers know nothing about those areas that they're
Have you
supposed to go in.
Have you talked to the listers and told them there's a solar field?
They don't know. How do they know? And there's no permit applied. So how are they
Have
going
you
to know?
talked to them and told them there's a solar field?
No,
Well, why not?
it's not my part. I was told that we're not supposed to be bothering those people.
Okay, Mark, it's a
I'm
reasonable
just
question.
telling you that we're missing out on something that could be taxed at $4 per kilowatt, like they're doing everywhere else in the state.
So
And
you're-
we're not bothering with. I don't see anything, any paperwork, anything. Teresa knows nothing about it. She
we
doesn't,
heard,
because there's no permit applied, then they don't know to go there.
the permit, they can tax the place if somebody doesn't have a permit, it doesn't mean they can't be taxed.
It's not on the list. Teresa told me that those solar farms.
You're interrupting now, please.
Okay,
The permit process is a process for our normal properties. Go to the listers, a copy has to go to the listers. But there's nothing, if the listers find out about a property and they see it and they see that it doesn't have a permit and it should stop them from giving it a value. If they are allowed to give it a value.
and find
there's
out
something-
from the
something-
listers that they have an intent to go over there and so that it can be on the tax rolls. It's a business for profit.
I'm
That
not
is
saying-
taxable.
There's some things I have to tell you that we don't get to tax, like the railroads. We don't get to tax the railroad.
I was
Gives us
told
the
by
state
the
gives
people
us a
in the
value
state,
and that's what we pay.
I was told
That's
by
what
the
they pay.
people in the state that I called that those can be taxed.
Fine, then let's tax
Just
them.
telling you. Up to
Who's
you.
arguing with you?
So what's going to be done about it? Somebody going to check into this?
You're a member of the planning commission.
Call the lister. Ask the lister.
Don't ask anybody else to do the thing that you're concerned about. You go do it.
Well,
You're a
isn't
member of
that,
the planning
isn't that,
commission.
Beth,
That's
isn't
public
that Beth?
information. You have a right to access public.
Beth is the zoning administrator, isn't that her job?
No,
No, not for the tax.
So hey, if you guys don't care, then I don't care. Lose out on the taxes. I don't care. I'm just
No,
telling you, I did all kinds of research on this, and these solar farms can be taxed.
no, that's the point is you can't just bring up these things and then ask somebody else to do the work.
I've been told that I'm just here to make policy.
No,
Oh, yes, you guys are right there at the meetings that you said that
may
we're
be here
not
to
here
make-
for
Can't
enforcement.
enforce
You
it.
may
We're
be
not
here to
here
make-
for enforcement. We only make policy.
you may be here to make policy, but that doesn't limit you to doing other things if you want to.
Well,
You're not.
no,
I will get a hold of the lister and I will ask him.
Why doesn't Noah do it? He's the town manager. Why doesn't he look
Doesn't
into it?
even have to do it. He's not even on the planning board.
I realize that. But
I will look into it. It's not a big deal. I'll give a call. I'll get the phone number. I will give the lister a call. It'll be a 3-minute call. I can do that.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go move on to the zoning appeal hearing review.
I
And-
sent out the report earlier today.
Yeah. Got it.
Questions, concerns, changes?
We got all the minutes.
So are you giving this to, are we doing this whole thing that you printed up to the
Yeah.
select board on Wednesday?
Yes, it would just go to them, yes.
Right,
Because
And-
this is our recommendation that we're not
right.
advocating for them to repeal zoning.
Okay, so we really don't do anything with this, just make sure it goes to the select board.
Right, you guys have to approve it. You guys, I'm one of you.
Yeah.
We have to approve it. We have to make a motion and approve this as the report that's going to the select board.
Okay, so you want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
You
second,
make that motion.
second,
I'll
right.
approve. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then it's passed. Well,
It's passed. It's going to the select board. It's out of our
Okay.
hands. We have nothing more to do with it.
okay,
Hallelujah.
thank you.
Is that on the agenda for the select board on Wednesday?
I think it is. I think I had Noah
think
put it
so.
on there.
Yep, it's on there.
So by my agenda, we've already done the renewable energy bylaw discussion, correct? That was kind of public comment. The zoning administrator report, I did get, that from Beth.
Yep.
And, do we all have it on our phones? I was.
I
on
have
mute.
it here. I have it here. I printed it out.
Okay, can you read it
I
off?
haven't been home.
Oh, here,
So, permit updates, a permit was approved for a storage box on 104 Parity Mountain Road.
yeah,
A permit was approved for a storage shed on 1391 Lakeshore Drive. Permits referred to the DRB is for a shed for a business that for RCP. And the second one is for potential food drink store located at 28 East Haven Road, Route 114.
and then you have something else under that? too?
I sent another letter to the dilapidated home on Railroad Street with a health order as well. I sent a letter to the shed without a permit on 104 Blueberry Lane.
Yeah, sounds good. She also said something that she was gonna take a look at the cabin on 105, because the last meeting we had, Joel, you were saying that, it's looking pretty rough there. He's not, picking up around the building, and Beth was gonna look into that. Was that correct? We're still on that page on that one for the log cabin? Because I don't think she did it because it's not in the report. And I sent her a text asking if she would look into that again of what you're doing, or,
Which
are we
cabin
sending a
on 10
letter, or what are we doing?
Which cabin on 105?
The
Remind me?
one that was
The guy that's been building it for a dozen years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because don't you think that, when you have that permit, it's only for 2 years to build, and it's probably been 10 or more. So you
That's
don't,
actually not what our bylaw says. Our
That's
bylaw
not-
says it must be started within 2 years.
Yeah.
It does not
Okay.
actually
All right,
say
all
when it
right.
has to be finished.
okay, very good.
No, I think the way to approach that is on the clause on junk and debris, household debris, because that's essentially what you have there. You know, and that's a
Okay.
violation. I think I might have given him a
did.
violation already. I have to look that
Yeah.
up.
I
Oh,
think it
because-
was during COVID, I think.
Yeah, he
And
said
then-
he couldn't come down. We didn't enforce it because he said he couldn't cross.
Come
the
down from Canada.
Right,
Couldn't
Yeah.
get across the line.
But
You can
that's
now.
passed now.
yep.
And it's
I thought you give him one right after COVID was over with. Just after he come down the first, second time or so.
No, I don't think so.
I tried to find his name and I couldn't find his name on Onyx and, I don't think she knew the name either. Should I get back to her on this? Because this was a question I had asked her to do an update on the Canadian guy. I'll just call Teresa and see if she can give me the name, the
Oh,
Canadian guy.
I can find the name. That's not a problem. I can
Okay.
talk directly to Beth if you want to.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be perfect. Thank you.
His name is Pierre something or other, I think.
Yeah, I remember Pierre. That's how we got.
But it's on the tax map.
Okay. Yeah, and we did say that about the junk for sure. I'm just curious, when we get that permit money, what account does that go into? Where does that, the money we get for permits?
General fund.
General fund, okay, that's so.
There is just to make note of this, the law does allow the planning commission to set fees high enough to pay for the costs of enforcing zoning. And I think you've approached that, but we've never really tried to actually measure that.
Can you repeat that, Joel? I didn't understand what you said.
So
What?
there are costs associated with running a zoning program.
Okay,
You know, you have your permitting, you pay the zoning administrator, you have your meetings that pay you guys. If you substantiate those costs, you can set your fees high enough to cover those costs. It's specifically allowed by the statute.
I thought we already raised
Yeah,
all
we
the
did.
rates.
Well, no, you did, but you haven't really conducted a study to
To see if it's,
compare the costs.
See,
and
that's right.
expenses.
if it pays
So
for the
if you
administrator.
wanted to do that, you could, but you don't have to. I mean,
It would just be in another fund of its own, right? Is that what you're saying?
well, it wouldn't have to go into another fund. You just have to track those specific costs and revenues.
Okay,
If you wanted to do it, it's just, I just point out, there are some things where you can't, but in this instance, you can. So,
okay.
I know
Is-
some communities, when a zoning administrator goes for an inspection, they charge for the inspection.
right,
There's a fee involved.
right.
And sometimes if it's 2 or 3 times that they have to go, they charge 2 or 3 trips. But we don't have that in our bylaws.
No, well, we haven't said anything that they can't. I mean, if the town was willing to pay that, I mean, in the zoning administrator's salary, mileage is another one. On those 3
Yeah.
trips, there's mileage.
Oh, yeah, gas, mileage, I mean, yeah. Mileage would be like 55 cents a mile.
Right.
67.
Oh, it's gone up to
67.
67 now, yeah.
Yeah.
67.5, actually.
Yeah, 67.5, right.
No, I mean, it's there's some places here in town, it's quite a drive to get there, and you waste an hour.
Well, yeah,
It's normal. I mean, the co-op, when they go to look at a job, they charge fees to go look at the job, and this comes under engineering, and they charge nothing is for free anymore.
So the money for the permit money is going into the general fund or however you're gonna do it to pay
Right.
Beth and she has expenses, correct?
Yeah, like if we knew she did 100 permits a year, I'm just rounding things off here.
Yeah,
So based on what she gets paid, does those permits pay for that salary that she's getting to be a zoning administrator? If
Well,
it isn't,
what's your permit fee now? 150?
150.
So I would say you have around 40 permits a year. And I know there's odd and end things with the DRB that will be
Yeah, right,
different.
it takes more time.
But
Yeah.
just say 150 times 40 is 6,000, right?
Yeah,
So
So that's
6,000,
barely-
and the zoning administrator's salary is 7,000.
so we're losing
So-
money.
So, well, you're
Well,
in the
it's not a-
ballpark.
Yeah,
You
Well,
just
I
want,
mean, I don't think a zoning administrator it's kind of like the police department. You know, it's not an income, really. It's
right.
always an expense to the town.
right, because it's in the budget. She has her own money that, we pay her $6,000.
Exactly.
So this
Right.
extra money should be going to help. I mean, she's not gonna spend $5,000, but I mean, it would
There
help
isn't-
her.
There isn't any extra money.
Yeah, the
No, I'm
money
saying
from the,
once it goes into the general fund for next year. No?
well, it goes into the general fund and then it comes out of the general fund.
Right.
And her
Right,
salary paid out of the
right, but I
general
mean,
fund.
you're still adding the permit money to the general fund. It's not like we're not giving the general fund any money. We're
No,
giving
no,
all the
you're-
permit money,
Oh,
right?
It just
Yeah.
might pay to have some sense of how much you're spending on zoning. And then make sure you set your zoning fees high enough to make sure you cover that cost. That's all. And I think you've tried to do that. I don't know if you succeeded because we haven't really looked at the numbers.
Right.
Your certificate of occupancy doesn't cover some of that running around in the end, final inspection?
no, we don't even, the certificate of occupancy, I think, is covered under the regular permitting.
No, it's separate.
No, it's separate now, they said.
It's
Oh,
a
it is.
separate form.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, I
should
think
be,
they got changed back. We did put it together and then I think they took it back. It got taken back apart.
Yeah.
I just paid it last week.
so should we be charging for an occupancy permit?
we do, I thought.
We
We
are.
do
I thought we
$25. What is it, 25 or 50?
I know
50.
there was talk about putting it in with the permit, adding it in with. the
Yes,
permit.
that's what it was. You're right, Gene.
And it was
You're right.
at one point,
Right.
but it's been taken back out.
Oh.
Yeah, when we increased the fees for the permit, we took it out.
Now, what
You
is it,
could add-
$75 gifts for occupancy?
50.
50?
I don't know, what was it,
I'm
Bruce?
looking. Let me
50,
see.
50?
50, correct.
50,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And naturally, if it goes to the DRB, they have to pay another 175, correct? Or was it more?
It's at least 225.
That's what it is,
Yeah.
yes.
So all those add up too. I mean,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just doing a rough
Yeah.
scaling of the numbers up based on the permits, but
I think
But,
I think we're doing all right.
yeah.
It's 150 for the application, 250 for DRB.
DRB.
Certificates of occupancy are 50. You have to go pull up the form and look.
Are we,
I'm sorry, just wanted to point that out, sorry.
no, don't be sorry. The only other thing I wanted to touch on, again, I got a email from, excuse me, Beth. And on the Jarvis and Wayland saga over on Pleasant Street. So I guess what they're saying is, and we're not gonna do anything. I mean, I think the only thing with Wayland is if he needed permits. For the
The
driveway
detailing?
and the
Is that
culverts.
the detailing?
No.
No, the school
The
buses.
buses.
Oh, school buses.
He put in culverts and, I think you might have mentioned even, he might have known the statutes, but whether he needed the permit for the driveway that he put in and the extra culverts he put in. I don't know. Are we done with that? Are we gonna pursue any of the permits on him or?
I had no knowledge that he put in extra culverts.
No,
or
I
else-
don't either. There was
Yeah.
already a culvert there for the driveway that was going up to the house.
No, there's a huge one that he put on, and it's like, I believe it's one of the bigger ones too. That's gonna be maybe a problem with the runoff going into the culvert over into Jarvis and Reeves property, but
And Andy should be put on notice then.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a,
that's up to the town crew.
Yeah, that's a,
but I don't
That's
see how
Andy.
they didn't see it going by all the time because it wasn't covered with dirt for a long time. And I think I'm not there now to see it, but it's basically done. And I think the culvert's filled with dirt, the top of it. You should be able to see it, but it's big. And I would assume Andy went by several times. They worked on it for weeks. I don't know
Well,
how
then there should- If
It
it's
should
a
have a-
new, if it's a newly accessing driveway to our
Right.
public roads,
Right.
he needs a driveway access permit. To do
So
it, but
it's
Not a new
planning
driveway,
commission
it's the
not-
same entrance.
it's the same entrance, it's just that he
Entrance
built
hasn't
something
changed.
to the side so
right.
that he could park it. So he's still coming off his driveway.
That's right.
Oh, Did he-
So,
See, what they're doing with the buses is they drive by his house, they go down by Allen Wings, they turn the bus around, then they come back Pleasant Street, and he backs in the two buses on a new platform that they filled in and built a small retaining wall out of rocks. But it's all his property. He can do what he wants. I don't
Yeah,
see where the culvert got changed.
it's
I don't
been-
see- I-
he added a culvert. He didn't change it.
Yeah, but
He added
where?
it.
Where?
It's by almost the other one, the smaller one. It's right at the end of the driveway. It's where the big rocks are. I don't know how to explain it. It was huge. It's one of the bigger ones and nobody
didn't
maybe
see
saw
that.
it because he covered it.
well, it's an Andy issue. It's
Yeah.
not a planning commission
No.
issue.
Okay.
No.
So do you want me to call
Yes.
Andy?
Call Andy.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Any other discussion on that? I think, and as far as Jarvis, I don't see the issue on that. Like even you were saying, if you're gonna hit one person with occupational, work at their home, you're gonna have to get a lot of other people in town. And what he's
Right.
doing is not,
90% of his work is done inside the garage.
well, no, he does work outside, but he's waxing and washing cars. He works outside in the summer. But, he does, it's
And it's on
washing and waxing.
Saturday.
Huh?
It's on Saturdays.
Yes, it's only on weekends, right?
Yeah, I mean, his business is in
Springfield.
Springfield. So he
Well,
can-
no, he has a new sign up at the Irving, the snowmobile board, and he's advertising his detailing, and his address is on Pleasant Street.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
Oh.
different.
That would probably require a home occupancy.
Yeah, that's, okay, that was one
Okay,
of
so
my,
that, he did
that
put a
was one
sign
of
up,
my lines
Yeah.
in the sand. If he's got a sign, then he needs a permit.
right? But it's at the Irving, the snowmobile bulletin board.
Well,
not
doesn't
at
matter.
his
He's
house.
advertising
Isn't
that
that handy?
address.
Okay, so so what are we gonna do now with that?
Instruct Beth to
Yeah.
require a permit for business.
Unless he takes the sign down.
Yeah, I
And he
mean-
changes the sign to his address in Springfield.
No, if he's, well,
Because that sign alone, they pay a lot of money to hang that up. Just take it down and put another one in the same spot, I suppose, right?
Right,
But-
I mean, this is like, these home occupations are, I mean, there's a line at some point that you just make a judgment call that, okay, it's progressed to the point where should require a permit, and that's not always a clear distinction.
right.
I mean, you're not gonna require a permit for some lady who takes in sewing on the weekends, or once a
I mean, if
month
he
or
had 10
something.
cars in his parking lot and people are going back and forth all day long there and it's, I don't see that. I don't see that.
I just tell you, I mean, if you walk into his garage, it's actually his house. There's a table there, there's a refrigerator, there's a little area where you fit the car, and if he's not working on a car, their car is in there. Basically, yeah.
Right.
I don't think it's a problem, but that's not up to me.
Yeah, I
It's
Well,
up to
for
Beth.
$150, oh, well, no, it's a commercial, so he'd have to go to the DRB too.
I can talk to Jeff. I'll just tell him to take the sign down.
That's it.
Or take the address off the sign.
Right. If it's
So-
advertising his address in Springfield,
Is,
it's fine.
Right.
When you're advertising your address in Brighton and this is your business,
And then it's a business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then it's a business.
It's opening up a can of worms.
yeah,
So Beth, so you're gonna do it now, Jeannie?
yeah, I'll talk to him.
All right.
Unless he wants to do that, but I don't think that he actually wants to get into the business of,
No.
It's a hobby.
it's exactly, I mean, it's what he does at home, but whatever.
I don't see a problem with that. I live on the street with right on my walk by it all the time. It's never been like an issue, a lot of cars, noise, nothing.
But that's what I mean. I mean, it's not like it's a stream of people all day long going in and out of there, and he's got 2 or 3 employees doing detailing. That ain't the
Right.
case.
No. And he's basically doing it one day.
So
Right.
what's I'm sorry, now I'm confused about the outcome is the planning commission suggesting that he does not need a permit?
I'm
the
just
record.
gonna go and talk to Jeff and tell him that
Take a sign down.
take his sign down
Or
or
change his address to
change-
Springfield.
put the address to Springfield instead of Island Pond.
Right.
No, I don't think it should be allowed that he can put the address on Springfield. That doesn't. He's
Yeah,
not
actually, he's doing his business in Island Pond.
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
Yeah, but it
You know,
doesn't
that's-
matter. Those business for trail signs are from businesses from all over the place. They're not from Island Pond.
That's true.
are there
Oh,
any
there
from
you go.
Springfield?
That's another one, Jeannie. That's true.
Yeah. Hey, it's up to you guys. So Jeannie will tell him to take down the sign or change it to Springfield.
Right.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
yep.
Yes, I agree. All
Or you
right.
can simply apply for a permit. I mean, it's not like I mean, I had to do when I had my business in my house. They called me up and said, you have to apply for a permit.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
But I
like it
don't
was
know that he
hard.
wants to get into it that much, get that involved in it, But
But-
I'll ask him either way.
Mike, did you have to get a permit and go to the DRB too?
I did not because it was a home-based occupation, and that was it was the regular
Right. Right, it wouldn't be the DRB in this case. If it's a home occupation, it would be
Right.
Beth. So it'd just be $150 permit.
right. I mean, it wasn't hard. I mean, that was Dana was the zoning administrator then.
Yeah,
Well,
and I don't,
I'll just ask him what he wants to do. If he wants
Right.
to leave the sign and pay 150 or take the sign down and change it, whatever. Either way, it's gonna be $150, so.
right,
right. I mean,
right. Okay, we done with that? Any other discussion on that? Okay. No, I didn't hear anything, but, okay,
No.
moving on, other business? Anyone?
The
Nothing?
the only other business I have is I'm realizing that the town plan is expiring in April 2026. And I'm telling you, that's gonna be here really quick. And
Right.
I think that we've got to shift gears and really start working on the town plan.
it needs lots of work.
So what do you think? I mean, are we accomplishing that with a meeting when we have,
Well,
9 things
I-
on it and, we're spending a lot of time talking about other things, or have a special meeting and get together and really take a couple of hours and work on it?
Well, I think what I would suggest is that, Mike and Noah and I and anybody who wants to help will start rewriting sections and present them to the planning commission as a draft.
Oh, okay.
That would be
That's-
and really don't know how else to do it. You can't, 6 people sitting around can't create words. Somebody's got to actually make the words.
You have to look him
Now,
up.
some of the stuff in the old town plan can be reused and just transposed into a new one.
Right. I mean, Jeannie, last time we did it, Jeannie did the housing study.
Well,
There's a few
Housing in
things,
the school and there's a
Right.
few others.
right?
I can do that again.
There's a few
I
things.
mean,
that
it's, all-
Now, are we going to use the stats from the state as far as population and decrease of population that's happening over the next 10 years?
Probably.
it's probably what you go through. Yeah, it's, what is it? You go on, it's, can't remember.
Well, there's different places. There's
Yeah.
the state and then there's a federal census, but
Yeah,
because the school must use the town plan also, and when they see what the stats are going to be in the near future, whether or not it's good for them to build an addition when they don't have to, because the population is on a decreasing line, that your school doesn't need to spend that kind of money. I mean, that's what the town plan is used for, to help us in order to oversee projects that might be coming to the town and how it affects the town.
Kind of.
I mean, it's kind of a vague thing, the town plan anyways.
The- the- the
I looked
town
at the old one.
The town plan should be your goals for the town should be
That's
included
right.
in the town plan. You know, this should be what we envision for the future. And the problem with our current town plan is it's just outdated. You know,
Oh,
our
yeah.
vision is not what's in that town plan anymore. I mean, there is so little about economic development in there. I mean, when I apply for grants that require, show where the town has
It doesn't
identified the
mention,
plan, it's a paragraph.
yeah, it doesn't mention much about tourism.
No, it does not. It's
And that's
very
what we
heavy
need.
in preventing wind
Yeah.
towers.
And that's what we need to
Not
put
what
in
was
our
written
town
last.
plan,
You're right.
how tourism is going to affect and use the Conti area more, or use this,
It's also the skeleton for your bylaw. The law is that you cannot enact a bylaw that you can't support with wording in the town plan. Well, how that was a law that was passed just, I don't know, not too long ago, maybe 10 years or something. And you didn't really have to connect the two, even though everybody thinks of planners think of the plans as the skeleton and the bylaws as the flesh.
and that's why zoning is mentioned in the town plan, because they look at that town plan also to get our grants.
That's right. If you want a grant, you better have something in the town plan that supports that application.
That's right.
And we know
Something-
some grants are going to be coming up, so we know what needs to be included in that town plan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We had actually started working on this a while back, didn't
Yes,
we?
we did.
Right, and then
Exactly.
we got distracted to the bylaws.
Because I've got stuff in here that was
Yeah.
changed and stuff, so, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So the
So-
bylaws are all put to bed now, right? We're all done with
No,
that.
no, the bylaws are not put, what
No.
I wanted to do was make a few quick changes to our bylaws. And then and we did that. We approved a lot of those, but we haven't enacted them into the bylaw yet. There's one section that I wanted to finish before we did that, but everything else is done. Remember all that travel trailer stuff?
Yeah, we had gone over through all that.
Right.
That's all done.
Oh,
We've
that's
made
a
a bunch
good,
of,
actually, that's a good question. Go ahead, Joel. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah, we've
you.
made a bunch of changes, and then the state had passed a bunch of new zoning bylaws that upset Mark tremendously.
Uh,
Which
And-
ones were
and-
those? Which ones were those?
Well, you were worried that, oh, we're not going to be able to do this, and we're not going to, it's going to mean huge changes in it. I'm trying to determine exactly what the impact will be on these. It's got the new, what we have
Oh,
to.
the thing about changing
How-
some of the areas where somebody could build a drug place, and they're gonna dictate to the town now, that we have to allow these places in, even though our zoning bylaws don't allow certain things in,
I
like
haven't-
housing, low
I
cost
haven't-
housing,
I
things
haven't
like
seen
that.
I haven't seen anything in what I've read about us, about we have to allow houses of some, what we have to allow. We
So a
have to
percentage of
allow
low-cost housing.
We have to allow multi-unit dwellings
That's right.
in every zone that has single and family dwellings. It's if they're served by water, and it's stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
And
I remember we discussed this.
Yeah, and I'm
What-
waiting for one final piece, and then I would be ready to take these zoning bylaws and send them to the attorney and get a change made right now. But in the meantime,
These state changes now are law.
yes. That doesn't mean, you can have a bylaw that, if challenged, wouldn't meet the state statute. It's just kind of a some of these things, what I would like to do is just do the changes we all agreed on. Make sure we have the right, I mean, I've already added multi-unit dwellings to all the places based on what I've read in this new statute, as far as I know, but there is one section that I'm waiting for. There was a seminar that they're gonna put out on that the lawyers gave on this, and I want to see that seminar. That's what I'm waiting for. But in the meantime, we got to work on the town plan.
Right. What I was referring to before was the freight containers. Now, if those are those metal big things, right?
Right.
And now people that already have them on their property and didn't get a permit, obviously, because they probably didn't know about it or nobody saw it or whatever. Are we supposed to be having Beth look at that as well? Because I suppose we're not supposed to be mentioning things if you see it. I don't know. I've seen quite a few. I forgot to put it on my list.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
When the lister came to my house, I showed him my container that I have a permit still on the door. And he says, we're not concerned with those at all. We don't care.
Okay, so
That
those
was the
freight-
answer that I got from the guy. He didn't care if I had 50 of them on my property. He didn't want to be bothered looking at it. I got nothing to do with those, he said.
the freight containers, but
Just to let you know
But that goes into zoning.
that's what I was told by him.
Well, I will personally talk to him on that one, Mark.
Okay, but that's what the guy said. I'm not concerning myself with that. He was more concerned about taking pictures of solar panels on everybody's properties. And I says, well, can I ask you a question? He says, what's that? Why are you taking pictures? I says that with the state, they're non-taxable for residential. He says the state wants the information for future. So with the state now wanting more and more and more income, I bet you that they're gonna change their minds about all these solar panels and they're gonna want them to be taxed. But right now, they're not taxed. But he says, we were told to take pictures of all solar installations, whether on the roof, on the ground, didn't matter. So he spent 5 minutes at my place taking pictures.
So I always required a permit if somebody wanted to put a freight container in, if they told me. I didn't go hunting for them. And I don't know how you look around, how do you know they don't have a permit? Every time you see one, are you gonna go to the records really and see if there's a permit for it? It's a from now.
I kept the big card on mine.
The from now on kind of thing. Anybody that puts one up, because there was a guy who wanted to get one and then he wanted to put clapboards on it and live in it. Well, why isn't that's a structure? Why
Right.
wouldn't you get why wouldn't there be a permit for it?
I don't know, but he wasn't concerned about him at all.
Yep. Well, we'll see about that.
Well, I just
You go,
wanted to
Joe.
mention it because I says I get the one for the solar, which is part of the solar system because I have all my equipment in it.
Mhm.
And he says, well, we don't care about those. We don't care about, we're not concerned about these containers whatsoever.
Because that's kind of weird, because it's storage.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
using it-
value to the
Well,
property,
I'm telling you
Yeah, I know.
what he said.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
but
disagree.
it's still a value to the property.
All right.
Wasn't concerned about it. Wasn't the state, I guess, could care less about him.
Okay, so Joel's gonna ask. the
Well, let me know
listener-
how you make out with that, Joel.
I will, and I'll also ask him about the solar farms that you were concerned about
Yeah.
being taxed.
Well, if it's business for profit, it should be taxed.
I agree.
Okay.
So, one question. Going back to Jarvis's. So if he gets the permit,
Have to be,
which is fine, that's.
yeah, but
what
do
it-
we deny it as a board?
No, we don't
it has
deny
to
it.
They don't have anything to do with
No,
that.
we don't have- it's home occupancy.
Okay, that's
you know.
right, that's right.
So
Doesn't need a
now,
sign.
he puts up a sign.
Right. Yeah,
So-
that would be controlled under the section of our sign bylaw.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure he doesn't really care about putting a sign up, but I'm just saying, so. But if he wants a sign, then he can put a sign up. He's
That's
gonna have
right.
to pay for it.
If it,
You
what
can.
is it, what did we say?
On the
1 by-
residents?
1x3 sign is
Yeah,
permitted?
it's a,
Yeah.
so many square feet, it's not much.
Yeah.
2.5 square feet, I think it is, or 5
Yeah.
square feet, but it's not a very big sign. It's in the bylaws.
Yep.
I thought it was 9, 3
So
by
you're
3.
saying that if he pays for that 150 for the permit, he's got the one at the snowmobile.
But that has
And
nothing,
then-
he didn't,
That
he
has
doesn't
nothing
own
to
that
do with
sign.
it. That doesn't matter.
He paid for that.
Right,
He
so then he's gonna
contributed to
pay
the trip.
another, he's gonna pay another 150 to get the permit, and then he can have another sign on his
It's
house.
6 square feet.
Okay, it's not much, I know
Right.
that. 2 feet times 3 is 2 by
And
3
yes,
is
he
6
could.
square
The
feet.
same as any other home-based occupation.
So the
Is
sign,
it really
Good
that
sign.
big? I thought it was 1x3.
That's what it says here. And it used to be, shall not exceed 3 square feet, and then
We changed it.
we changed it to 6 square feet.
Okay.
Home occupation.
Yeah, we did change it. I remember that.
I got it. It's
so I just wanna mention, because we're talking about Jarvis, somebody had said to me, is that in the Lake District in that you're not supposed to have like a business or signs or something? Is that a Lake District? I thought Blueberry was the lake, but we're all on that side because we have beach rights.
Anything left of the Pleasant Street going towards
The lake,
the lake is that zone.
yeah. on
So
the
there's no
north side.
problem with having that, a business and a sign in the Lake District then?
No, well, you can have a home occupation, I think, but I don't know. I have to look it up. That's Beth. It's a question for Beth, but ultimately, is he on the lake side of the street?
Well, I'm on the lakeside, aren't I? I'm on Pleasant Street. I'm a little, about 5 houses down or so. So we're all on that side because, like Pleasant Street not on the Wayland side where the buses are, like Jarvis, Pete, me, there's a lot of people right there.
but there's a street behind you.
Right, so that's the question. I said to that person, isn't it just but I should have looked on the map and I wasn't in town hall to see where the Lake District
Lake
was.
District is east of Pleasant Street, northeast of Pleasant Street, the whole length. It's in blue. See it?
I can't see it. I don't, my screen is blank. I can't see anybody in the crowd.
We can't see you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're saying it is the Lake District, that side?
That side of Pleasant Street is Lake District.
So
It's
the
in
But
question-
home
blue.
occupations are permitted.
Lake.
Okay, all right.
Wayland side is neighborhood residential.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
All right, we done with this? And we're gonna be, next meeting, we'll have some answers to everything that we're talking about. Now, the next is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I wasn't here, so. Was
Noah sent it in email.
Yeah, but I don't think I was at the meeting, so I can't approve it.
Remember if I was.
No, that was the 18th.
I'll make a
Oh, that was
motion.
this, okay, the planning. Yes, I was there. I'll make a motion to, yeah. accept
Approve the mi-
Approve the meetings of the November 18th.
And I'll
Do I
second
have a
it.
second? All in favor?
All right.
And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make,
Are we
Motion
done?
adjourned.
I'll
Okay.
second.
All in
Second it.
favor?
Aye,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night.
night.
Right.
Thanks.
We just turned the power off to the thing, right?
Hold on, I gotta stop recording. Hold on, I gotta get over there. If I can remember how to do this. How do you do this?